What's up, everybody? Welcome to the round 6 review as the Blues go down yet again to a premiership or finals contender, 85 to 103, 18 points to the negative. I had a very interesting experience with this game. Obviously, as I said in the preview, I missed watching it live. I was at a wedding. One of my best friends, Andrew, got married and I was a groomsman, so I had duties to fulfill. I will touch on the wedding a little later, but I was watching live sort of in spurts throughout the day. We had photo shoots and things to do, and I was being very antisocial, watching as much of it as I could. And I asked the question of a lot of people once the game finished, was it that bad? Because I was, checking Twitter and checking the reaction on Instagram and obviously getting a lot of text messages and whatnot. And it seemed like it was worse than Port Adelaide the week before. And getting up this morning on the Sunday to watch the game, feeling a little bit seedy. I was expecting a debacle, and I just didn't see that. And maybe it was the perspective of not being in the war zone with you guys, watching the game live and at the game and whatnot. Maybe that was what it was, but I haven't come away from that game thinking, oh, fuck, we're pathetic, There are moments within that game, there are patches within that game that really disappoint me. And, skill errors, missed opportunities that just really disappoint me. But like I said, I thought that was a response from what we asked for last week. I really did, personally. And I'm not accepting the loss. We do not accept losses anymore. That was disappointing to fail the way we did last night. But I can actually come away from that game saying, okay, that was better. And I think that's really what you can ask for. And at the end of the day, we've now played, I would say, 3 teams this season that I reckon are definitely going to be in the 8, in Richmond, Port Adelaide and Brisbane. I know we've lost to Collingwood and they were a finalist last year. I don't know if they're going to make the finals this year as it stands right now. But those 3 teams, I think, are definitely making the finals. And those 3 teams were all in the top 4 last year. So they're serious players. Now, my experience watching the game, I thought the first quarter was fantastic. I want to give a shout out to Cripps, even though this is the review. We asked for him to do the simple things right. I actually thought he used the first option every time he got the ball. I thought he led well. I thought the defensive intensity at the contest was fantastic. I thought we hunted in numbers. I thought we scored well off turnover. I just loved the pressure and the application to the cause in the first quarter. I thought there was the unity that I asked for. We just didn't capitalise. We really had the run of play and we didn't capitalise. Now that can be taught. Skills can be improved. They really can. I really do believe that. They lost Gardner, who was subbed off with 5 minutes 31 to go in the first, and they were battling the Lions. Lockie Neal goes down. I think Hipwood copped a corky to the hip, and it was looking like, from my point of view, it looked like we were really going to run over the top of them. But the main thing I took away from that early part, that first quarter, was just the numbers at the contest and the willingness to be there for your teammates. The second quarter, like I said, I got messages from people saying, wait till you see the second quarter. It was a disaster. It was a debacle, and it started off pretty poorly. Devon Robertson, who, mind you, I love him as a player. I was really shocked that we didn't pick him when we had Sam Philp picked at the club. I thought Robertson was the pick. But anyway, he kicked 2 goals in the second quarter. His second one really hurt. He just sort of danced around, 3 of our best defenders, most experienced players, and that was poor. And then I thought it was a bit of a grit. We sort of stemmed the bleeding and held firm. There was no score. That was the problem until our best player, Sam Walsh, cut the lead to 11 with that beautiful kick from 50 metres. And then, unfortunately, the Lions just scored easily, and that's something that's now becoming an absolute pattern for us. Teams can score so easily against us, and the good teams, like the Port Adelaides, like the Brisbane Lions, and like the Richmond Football Club, they will score easily because they are efficient going forward. And that's just the reality of, the class gap. That's just where it is right now and how it is. They got that goal over the top to Hipwood. They looked ominous, the Lions. However, there was a moment in the second quarter which I really, really hurt to see. If you guys go watch the game and you go to about 7 minutes to go in the second quarter, players are jogging back. There's only one player sprinting back, and that was Sam Docherty. And that was, for me, bang, moment right there. I hope that piece of footage gets chopped up and given to the players during the week because they tried so hard in the first quarter. They were battling in the second quarter. You cannot drop your heads and start jogging back. And that's what I saw in that piece of footage. Sam Doherty was the only one running back with actual sprint effort. And unfortunately, the last 7, 8, 9 minutes of that quarter, that was really bad. And I think that really set up the loss, as well as another patch in the third quarter. Having said that, I thought the response after halftime was fantastic. The Zorko running goal from the Neil free kick, that was disappointing. That's just, again, lapses in concentration from a team who is middle of the pack. That's where we are. We're not a top 4 team, we're let alone a finals team. We're a middle of the pack team as it stands right now. And that was disappointing. I did think the midfield, having said that, just did respond the way they needed to. As a collective, guys like Ed Kerner, who I didn't think had a very good first half, really responded. And then in defence, I thought Liam Jones became the Liam Jones that we have come to know and love in the second half. Harry's goal put us within 7 points with 14:21 to go in the third. And again, we made the push. And that was the thing I asked for in the preview. I said, I know we're going to come out tough. I know the Lions are going to come and punch us back. Are we going to go into our shells? And I just thought in that third quarter, we pushed back. And that was what you want to see. You always want to see you don't want to see them accept the fate like they did against Port Adelaide. I thought we didn't accept the fate and we kept going, even though easy goals were being kicked on us, even though some umpiring decisions were going against us at really crucial stages and positions in the ground. I just thought we kept going. The McCarthy goal against the flow of play in the third really hurt. Really, really hurt. Just took the air out of it. And obviously Cripps missing the goal. I thought he was fantastic all game. That was actually, in the second quarter, what do you say? You love him. The fourth quarter, again, kept fighting. We just weren't good enough. We just weren't good enough. We had so many opportunities that you would think are guaranteed goals, particularly from experienced players like Eddie Betts and the like. I thought he kicked 4 behinds. I thought he missed some really easy ones. And in the end, it was an 18-point game, which like I said, I don't feel as devastated as I did last week. Disappointing to lose 2 in a row again. We find ourselves in this hole, so to speak. We need to respond next week. But there is a saying in footy, and that is, you start games how you ended them the week before. And if that's the case, then we're in for a good first quarter against the Bombers next week. But that was my take on the game. Again, maybe having the emotion taken away from me. It was a very interesting experience watching that game, the way I watched it. Waiting for the morning after to watch it and seeing all the reaction, but not letting it affect how I watched the game. I, sat there, and it was very reminiscent of the Israel days, sitting there, laptop there, taking notes on every single critical moment. It was a good, I guess, flashback to the way I used to watch the games as opposed to when I go to the games now. So, but I do want to get your thoughts. I mean, have I I don't know. I just don't feel devastated in that performance. I think there's plenty to work with. And shout out to Mark Alvey, whose tweet seemingly was the one positive tweet or take amongst the thousands of negative takes. He spoke about how Cripps took the first option, and we'll win more games than what we lose if we play like that. And I tend to agree with that. That one really stood out for me, and I think Mark's someone that has a really good outlook on the game. He's someone that's been inside the actual 4 walls of a footy club and understands the game. And I thought that was a really good take. And I think we can work with that. If we play like that every week, I think we'll be okay. However, unacceptable performance. We can't. I guess we can set the bar and we can say that's the standard. Who's going to drive that week to week? I just don't know. That's the only thing. I just don't know. I'm a little bit lost for what to do next. I'm a little bit lost for, okay, we've been hit with reality straight in the face. We're not good enough to contend for these top 4 teams, which is not a complete shock, but it is what it is. And, we're 2-4. That's just not great. I think, 3-3 was what you need to make sure you were at this point in the year to, stay in that finals race. Not to say we're out of the finals race, but just, I guess, nothing is linear. I speak about that a lot, and it's not going to be smooth sailing. We're not going to be at 500 for the whole season. We're 2-4 now. We've played 3 teams who we think are going to be in that top 6. I would think the Brisbane Lions, Port Adelaide, and Richmond. I think they're going to be in that top 4, top 6 group. So maybe there's a little bit of perspective needed there. But we got to get a wriggle on. We have to get a wriggle on, because the later the season goes, the more susceptible the reality of footy life happens. Injuries, and we've already copped them, but injuries, and there's so many twists and turns, and we don't want to leave our run too late. That's the only thing. I think this club and this team has a run in them for sure. They're not going to be giving up. The club's too big for these players to be giving up. Do I think there are some players and coaching staff that maybe aren't up to what this club is? Yeah, I think there's a little bit of that. I do. I think it's too big a task for some of these people involved in the club, if you will, whether that be players or some of these assistant coaches. And that's, I'm not having pot shots, no personal disrespect, but players and coaches will come and go, and the fans will remain forever. And maybe, the priority with the rebuild, was the list. The list was in what you could say maybe disarray. We had to do that. Now it's about the coaching staff. I think that's the next layer. But again, we cannot do anything about this until the end of 2021. I know that the fans have been calling for change in that group for a couple of years, but the list has been the priority, the playing list on the field. And now I think, at the end of the year, that's when that conversation is had. So I do have question marks on that, but it is what it is. We have a massive game next week, and it's unacceptable to be losing next week. Anyway, we'll get to that early next week, and we'll touch on that. But let me know what you think about the game. Let me know how you saw the game, and it's obviously going to be different to me because we weren't in the trenches live together, which I get a lot of FOMO about that. But it is what it is. The player of the game, I'm going to give it to Harry Mackay. I thought he was fantastic. Player being our sponsor. There they are. Great product. Great people as well. Get around them. I'll put the link in the description to Player. Get around the granola. And as for the wedding yesterday, I do want to give a shout out to one of my best friends, Andrew, and his beautiful wife, Michelle, who got married yesterday. It was a lovely time. I had a good time, and I guess, sometimes footy isn't everything, and that was a reminder for me yesterday. However, I'm obsessed with this. Like, this footy club, I'm obsessed. Like, this is me. This is who I am. This is what I do, and then this is how it is. And love it or hate it, I'm not changing. This is who I am. I caught the garter. I did. I caught the garter last night. So I guess I've got to get married now. I've actually got about 5 or 6 garters. I have this thing where I love to catch them because I compete. So caught the garter. I just need a wife now. So anybody out there, let me know. The only issue is I'm already married. Yeah, like I'm married to 22 fucking blokes who piss me off every fucking week. But other than that, I'll leave it there. Smile. It's Sunday. We're going to be okay. But I'm very keen to see your thoughts. And obviously we didn't do the fan cams last night. So let's put all our thoughts together and be practical. And let me know what you think in the comments below. And we'll go from there. Go the Mighty Blues. We are the